I wish I would have done this sooner. What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about why freelancers, and in particular freelance web developers, need to start crushing it. And I was inspired to create this video because I was listening to an audiobook by Gary Vaynerchuk, and the title of the book is called Crushing It. And it basically says how great entrepreneurs build their business and influence, and how you can too. Now, this should definitely be a book that you get your hands on. Either the physical book, you can get it from Amazon, and I'll leave a link down in the description area. Or if you want to listen to it, you can get the audiobook. And this is great because yesterday I was doing a long coding session. I coded for maybe 8 or 10 hours straight. And during that time, I was listening to the book Crushing It. And in it, he talked about various stages of his life when he first started going into the family business as a wine guy. And he gave a little bit of background, a little bit of history of when he was starting to learn to develop his palate. And he says that he missed an opportunity to be able to start documenting that experience. And then I started thinking, this is something I tell people all the time. Because when I first started coding, when I first started getting into code, what I did is pretty much what everybody who's self-taught does. I got some books, I started looking at the documentation pages, I started checking out YouTube, and I started to learn how to code. And I did this for some time, but one thing I didn't do is I didn't document my process. I didn't document the learning experience. And in the book, he talks about the value of showing that process of learning to do what it is you're looking to do. Because people can learn from the mistakes that you might make. And let me tell you, when I first started coding, I made a lot of mistakes. And sometimes I still make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. But by documenting your process of learning, either by blogging it or by vlogging it on YouTube or any other platform that has video, I think YouTube's still the best though. During this time, you could start developing your network, you could start developing a following, you can start getting your name out there. And by the time you're ready, you might be able to pick up clients a little bit easier. And that's what was difficult for me when I first started, because even though I spent a considerable amount of time learning how to code, practicing my code, making sure that my code was doing what it needed, that it was secure, that it was optimized, and that it was production ready, by the time I was ready to actually start taking on clients, there was nobody knocking on my door. I had to go out there and I had to start meeting up with people, having cups of coffee, and that's a great way to do it. Definitely face-to-face is a great way to market your business. But you'd be surprised how fast you can go through your entire sphere of influence, or even your local market, depending on where you live. That's why it's important that if you're gonna be a freelance web developer, you gotta start developing your brand. You have to get your blog. And I think owning a website is extremely important, because that could be the foundation of who you are, at least when it comes to the online world. Because who knows what's gonna happen with one platform to the next. Algorithms change. Some social media sites will go out of business, while others will start to dominate. We don't know what the future holds. But if you have a website, at least you have a core foundation. And then from there, you take it onto platforms like YouTube. I think that most people should start vlogging their process. You definitely need to get all your social media handles on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Snapchat, and every other social media website out there. It's important to have your brand, whether it's your actual name or if it's a brand that you're trying to build up. It's important to try to have all those handles properly branded. So if you go to my website, pixumweb.com, that is my site. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/pixumweb. If you go to my Instagram account, it's instagram.com/pixumweb. Same thing for LinkedIn, same thing for Snapchat, same thing for Musical.ly, and he actually mentions Musical.ly in the audiobook several times. And now Twitter is the only one that's a little bit out there. It's Pixumweb Design. And the reason for that is somebody somewhere who doesn't even use Twitter anymore has the handle Pixumweb. So I'm thinking to myself, listening to this book, Crushing It, this is valuable advice. If you're just getting into web development, if you're looking to become a freelancer, how are people gonna find you? And I mention this all the time. You could be the absolute best coder in the world, but if nobody knows of you, if nobody knows of the work product that you could create, how are they gonna be able to reach out to you to get you to work on their projects? That's why it's important that we all start crushing it. And this book, Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk, is definitely a must read or listen to. I'm looking back and I'm saying to myself, I wish I would have done this sooner. I mean, my channel is growing here on YouTube and I'm very grateful for all the subscribers. And if you're not already subscribed, then make sure to hit that subscription button. I create videos on how to manage a WordPress powered website, some videos on social media, and a lot of videos on how to code. And at this point, I'm getting very close to about 7,000 subscribers. Now I'm thinking if I would have started back a couple of years earlier, maybe 5-10 years, documenting my process, documenting my services, my growth as a coder, that's something that would have been definitely beneficial because my following would have been larger. And the same thing on other social media networks as well. So my advice is the same advice that Gary Vaynerchuk gives. You gotta build your brand. You gotta start getting ready to be found out there. You gotta let the world know what you're being active in, especially if you're gonna be transitioning careers, because if people know you in one way, shape, or form, they may not know you when you transition. Like for instance, I used to be in a completely unrelated field. I used to be the majority leader of the New York City Council, so people knew me as the majority leader of the council. They didn't know me as a coder. And even when I was doing real estate, people knew me as a realtor, they didn't know me as a coder. And once I stopped politics and once I stopped real estate and just went full force into coding, that transition time took time. So my advice is definitely start blogging and vlogging and getting all your social media handles. Start getting active in the communities on those social media websites. Start developing your personal brand. And don't just do it on one platform. Make sure you can be found on multiple platforms because again, you don't know where one platform is going to be 5 to 10 years from now. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket and all of a sudden that platform falls out of favor. So definitely make sure you can be found on the largest sites like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. But if there's any other social media websites or platforms that are very active in your niche, then definitely start getting active in that as well. Like one of my favorite ones is Quora. It's a great question and answer based website, and on that side I'm very well known in the WordPress space. I'm one of the top contributors on Quora for WordPress, WordPress themes, and WordPress plugins. So definitely make sure you're out there, definitely make sure that you can be found and build your brand no matter how early it might be. And get the book Crush It. I think he's done a great job of giving tips and tricks for entrepreneurs, and I think it's very important for freelancers to start listening to this type of information because we live in a very competitive world. And actually, one of my favorite parts of it was in the beginning when he first starts off the book. He starts talking about kids making slime and how some people might say that, what is that? Is that really a thing? And he goes on to say that, you know, these kids that are making slime, they're making slime videos. They're learning how to be creative. They're learning how to be on camera. They're learning these presentation skills. They're getting social. And who knows? Maybe they're going to be the next best thing when it comes to that particular niche of making slime. And that's actually something my daughter's doing. She started her YouTube channel about a year ago and she started making her own videos, and she has about 60 some odd videos to this day. And right now she's almost at 1,000 subscribers. She's at about 850 or so subscribers right now. And she's done this in about less than a year. And the cool thing is that she's doing everything by herself. She's 10 years old and she's recording her videos on her iPhone and she's editing her videos on her iPhone as well. Me, I have to use my big computer or laptop that I'm using now, and I'm pulling up some very expensive software like Premiere Pro, and I'm using Audition and trying to use After Effects. Her, just using her iPhone. That's it. To take the video and edit the video. So at 10 years old, she's crushing it. And another person who's doing exactly what I wish I would have been doing is Garcia. He's another YouTuber and he's a coder, he's a web developer. And he's been documenting his process of learning to code, and he vlogs about it. And he does a lot of live videos and he interacts with his community. And when he got his first web development job working for another agency, he vlogged about that. He gives a lot of video reviews on some of the best online courses to take when you're learning how to code. And when he got his second job and he moved across the state, he vlogged about that as well. And right now he's almost at about 4,000 subscribers and he's building his online following. So he's crushing it as well. All right, so if you're a freelancer, if you're looking to become a freelance web developer, then definitely check out the book Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. It's a great book. I'm listening to it on Audible, which is a great thing to do if you're in the middle of a coding session and you want to just have something playing in the background. And I think it's going to be very valuable for anyone looking to build a brand. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to share my thoughts about the book Crushing It by Gary Vee. I think that all freelance web developers and coders need to start crushing it and need to read that book. All right, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that notification icon, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.